And our first question is from Jonas Pope. Go ahead, Jonas.
Good morning, Coach Keatts. Hope all is well.
Morning, Jonas.
I want to ask you a question. It's kind of basketball related, but kind of away from the game related. Obviously, losing is tough, right? And it wears on people differently. And I'm sure the players have people they lean on. They probably, talk to each other in their dorm rooms, talk to their coaches, high school coaches, or their family. But during these times, like when you're away from it, like what do you do to kind of, is it someone you confer with, someone you talk to about what, the way the season's going, or you just kind of like all basketball all the time, even when it's not game day or practice day?
That's a good question, Jonas. It's when you win, everybody loves you and it's the best thing in the world. And, obviously sometimes when you're losing games, it feels like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, because I think what happens is every coach is a competitor, every player is a competitor. And so, a lot of times people are upset that you're losing. The coaches are the worst. If you think that you're upset, then how do you think I feel? So I cope with it different ways. I talk to certain colleagues around the country anyway, whether it's winning or losing. I have a small group of guys that I communicate with one way or the other, follow some of their scores and talk to some of those guys. But for me, it's just really just going back to the drawing board. We spend, as coaches, I'm sure a lot of other coaches do this too, we spend a lot of time watching film, and what we call it, we rewatch the game, and we may rewatch it 2 or 3 times just to figure out, if there's anything that we can do to help our squad, or, some things that we can improve on both ways. But, it's, we have to, at some point, Jonas, we have to move on as coaches. I think the kids move on a lot quicker than we do. Coaches, it probably take us almost until the next time we get in practice before we realize we got to move on to the next game and prepare. A lot of times kids, I think they forget a lot quicker than we do.
I'm just curious, as a quick follow-up, do you have in that circle, are they patting on your back or trying to lift you up and keep you positive, and being brutally honest with telling you what they're seeing when they watch your games, or just watch your highlights or whatever?
A lot of times the folks that I'm talking to don't have a chance to watch your game. So sometimes you talk to them about, hey, what happened? But if somebody is patting me on my back and not being brutally honest, that's not the person I really want to talk to.
Okay, our next question is from Alex Sawyer. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, Coach Keatts, I want to ask about Terquavion. Against Pitt, didn't necessarily have the scoring that he's had, but he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, a couple of steals. I just wanted your thoughts on the way he's kind of progressed this season in the parts of the game other than the scoring.
Alec, he's going to be judged a lot by how much he scores the basketball. And, that's when everybody, whether you watch the game or not, you're going to pick up the stat sheet and you're going to be like, man, he didn't shoot it well, or he had a great night. But I see a kid who is maturing and right in front of our eyes, starting to play, pass the ball a lot. He's starting to understand concepts. He's getting better defensively. And, of course, as on this particular team, we need him to score to have an opportunity to win games. But also we're trying to develop the entire person. And I think what's happened with him is he's starting to get better. He's starting to understand. He's starting to have a better feel for college basketball. And that's what you hope that you see in a freshman, the growth, especially when you get in February, that they picked up some things that they didn't have coming in the door and will help them become better players.
Okay, our next question is from James Henderson. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. Late against Pittsburgh, you faced some zone. I know you did against Syracuse. It seems like Georgia Tech's running a lot of that as well this year. Just your take on how you guys have done against zone this season so far.
I would say we played great, in quotes, against the zone, which is Syracuse zone. I thought we did a great job where we shared the ball. I think we had 16 threes. We made 16 threes in that game. And I think we've had moments. I think we're like every other team in the country. Depends on, you can pick out a segment of it and say, man, you played so well against the zone. And then there's a few possessions where you don't. The biggest thing I think with us is we've got to have a lot of player ball movement, and we've got to do it in different ways. We got to be able to drive the basketball. We've got to be able to find open shooters. And one thing that we've been good at this year is we've got to do a good job of offensive rebounding. And Georgia Tech's done a great job. Josh has mixed his zones up. kind of plays a little bit of more some matchup, and then you'll get some 1-3-1 regular, and then at times some 3-2. And so we do expect to see some zone and different types of zone against Georgia Tech, and hopefully we can make the right decisions against their zone.
And just to follow up, I don't know if you mentioned it after the game. I didn't see Breon at the game at Pitt. Is he available for Georgia Tech? Just his status.
We'll know a little bit more later on today. He's just under the weather. It's not COVID related, but of course, we a lot of our focus is so much on COVID, but it's a lot of other things that's going around, colds and flu and all that other stuff. But I won't know exactly. I will say you this: he didn't do much with us yesterday at all.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, James.
Okay, our next question is from JB Ricks. Go ahead, JB.
Good morning, Coach. I appreciate you taking out this time for us. My question for you this morning, how do you stay in the moment when you're having a season like this, when your team is struggling and, we're getting towards the end of the season? How do you stay in the moment? I know Coach Passner mentioned Manny Bates being out and how different things would be if you guys didn't lose him. But, you still got to keep your focus, towards this final stretch of the season, even though you guys don't have the wins that you want. How do you as a coach kind of like just stay in the moment and just still go after one win at a time?
Yeah, JB, it's, everybody has to lock in, and our roster is what our roster is. I feel bad for our kids because we lost to Manny and our Ernest Ross, and obviously didn't even have the opportunity for Greg Gant to play. But when you look around our league's starting to get hit with some stuff. Florida State was playing as good at basketball as everybody, and then obviously some key injuries have changed it. And same thing you can say about Clemson, and then unfortunately for Syracuse also. I try to keep our guys locked in and try to focus. And I think as a coach, we owe it to each individual kid that's on our team to give them everything, whether we lose one of our key players or not. And, my focus is to teach and love on these kids and try to get better and not, feel sorry for ourselves because nobody else will. And that's one of the things that we've done is that we know that we're undermanned going into most games, but what keeps me going, JB, is that our guys, man, have completely fought in every game. Now, that doesn't mean we've done everything right, but we're battling with a limited roster, and I'm proud of these guys for their fight.
Thanks, Coach.
And our next question is from David Teal. Go ahead, David.
Kevin, in your win over Virginia, you shot better against a Tony Bennett team than any opponent ever has except Gonzaga last year. And I wondered, were you guys so locked in and so good that day? Was it almost like fool's gold that it sent the wrong message to you guys that we've got it figured out, or what's happened since?
Well, I hope it wasn't fool's gold. We need to shoot that. We've had some games, David, and that I can point to that we played like really extremely well where we shot the ball. We did the same thing at the Syracuse game, and I thought early in the year at Purdue on a neutral court we played extremely well. It's not fool's gold. That's the strength of our team. And if we're not making shots, then obviously it doesn't give us an opportunity to win. But with no true low post back to the basket guy, our guys have to make shots. And, if those guys are making shots, then we can make it really tough on you. And I think in the Virginia game, we found a rhythm. We made shots. We're better, David, when we're a passing team and we're making the right play every time. And that's what I thought we did in the Virginia game. We done a great job of moving the basketball and we found good shots and we played off of each other. And I thought that was important.
All right, we've got a few minutes left. If anybody else has any other questions. Ken Segura, we'll go to you next. Go ahead.
Hey, Kevin. I'm curious, when you've looked at Georgia Tech, what do you see that stands out most to you?
Well, I mean, when you look at DeVoe, I feel like DeVoe's been here forever, and he is so talented. He is, he's a guy that makes the game look really easy, and Josh has done a really good job putting them in, some great situations. And then Usher, Usher plays with so much energy, and then similar to us, we've got 3 guys that can, we need to play well to have the opportunity. They got 2 guys that are really good, and I think like Josh, we asked for that 4th scorer. He asked for that 3rd, 4th scorer that can help them win. But they're as good as anybody in our league defensively because they confuse you. They run different defenses. They mix it up. And then on the offensive end, they're unique where, even though they don't have great size, they can go small and they run the Princeton offense and they do some stuff. So, I know it may not be showing up with wins because of, some of the injuries that they've had this season, but they're as tough of a matchup as you can see because they are unique in 2 things they do offensively and defensively.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Keatts, we're all out of time. We appreciate you joining us, and best of luck this week.
Yeah, everybody, don't get in trouble. Make sure you take care of your significant other on Valentine's Day.
Good advice. All right, well, next.